when you're teaching, how much are you teaching technique and how much are you teaching how to actually play? Because it sounds like you're trying to get how to play in a lot more than you're trying to get path and stance.
I am so not technical. I believe in, everyone has basically their own ability. Everyone has different hand-eye coordination, obviously. I've never been someone who really knows the swing that well, or have never really studied the swing much. I play golf, and so I try to teach people how to play golf and not to swing, which I'm sure you've heard before. And so I kind of know more of like, okay, well, if I want to hit a certain, like I asked, what do you want to do? What shot do you want to get rid of? Well, I try to explain to them, well, the reason why you hit this type of shot is because of your poor posture, your poor grip, stuff like that. Not too much swing fundamentals, all the ball flight laws and stuff like that. I don't jive with that. My brain doesn't quite comprehend that. So I'm way more of a feel, picture it, see it, and hit it. Caveman golf a little bit.
Okay. Oh, all right. That's perfect. Because I have this theory about the TrackMan draw, right? Right. The push draw. If you're trying to draw it, are you thinking about path, or are you just thinking about? I mean, what are you trying to do to make it draw?
There's two main things for me to create a draw. I play the ball a little further back in my stance, which I know will naturally get me bringing the club a little more from the inside. I'll hit the inside quadrant of the golf ball a bit more, and I'll close the club face. Whether I'm closing the club face in my initial setup position and I close it a degree, or through impact, I'm just making sure to release a little bit more. Kind of depends on how much draw, but I love hitting draws. Like I get hit draws all day. I love a left pin on a green. Love hitting a punch little hook. Me hitting a slice out of the trees though and stuff like that. I saw Roy do a couple times. I mean, that's a really hard shot, Out of the pine straw, it's a little bit easier, but man, out of the rough, trying to move a 7-iron left or right for me is almost impossible. But yeah, so I always grew up picturing a ruler directly over the golf ball, right? So 6 inches is on each side of it. And I usually try to want to hit it straight, and what I would do is I would just try to take it back directly down that ruler 6 inches. When I bring the club back to the golf ball for those 6 inches behind it, it's right on the back of it and through the ruler for 6 inches. Now, when I wanted to try to move the golf ball, I would just take it outside the ruler going back, or take it inside the ruler going back, and that would be me trying to hit a draw or a cut. And I try to keep it that simple. Obviously, yeah, you aim a little more right or aim a little more left, but not a ton. So, yeah. I still picture that ruler.
You said you've been here, what, 21 years?
21 years at Arroyo Trabuco, yep.
Okay. I mean, they got a sign out in front for you. I mean, you've been the mayor here for a long time. What are your golf aspirations going forward?
Boy, the nerves have definitely started popping out ever since, really kind of since the PGA. I think I put a lot more pressure on myself, which in turn has made me much more nervous, which it's kind of a bummer, to be honest. So I haven't been playing my best golf since then. I kind of like being under the radar, the club pro guy with not a lot of pressure. I kind of enjoyed the fact of going and playing events where no one knew who I was. Now I feel like there's a lot more pressure on me to succeed and to play well and to make the cut and stuff like that. And the reality is, it was an unbelievable week. I played my butt off. I'll never do that again. There's really no way that week's ever going to happen again for me. But I do know I tried to chase distance over the last year. My swing kind of went to crap. A lot of movement, a lot of bad moves going on. I've understood this. I literally sold the TrackMan on purpose because I was chasing numbers all the time. I literally got rid of it just for that. My kids didn't like that, but I had to get rid of it. And I'm back to just kind of making my swing, playing my golf, not worrying about it too much. I mean, I'm almost 49 years old. I'm a year away from turning 50. Of course, I'll probably go to Champions Tour Q School. I'm already in the senior PGA Championship, so I'm already exempt for that, which is cool, the year I turn 50. And I might get a couple more exemptions, hopefully here at the Hogue, here at Newport Beach Country Club, and throw my hand at it, because I can't wait to be the young guy again. I can't wait to be I'm so sick of being the old short guy. And I can't wait to be the young long guy. So I'm looking forward to that.
So what do you think when you see LeBritz, when you see Rob LeBritz, when you see Jason Caron, right? I mean, Jason Caron is balling.
Boy, I'll tell you what. You know what? I think Rob really got Jason, feeling that he could do that. I know they know each other from the Met section. Rob's been a great friend of mine for a long time. He was just out here actually a couple weeks ago. We played, had a great time, had dinner and stuff. It was huge what he did, and it inspires other club pros when they do turn 50 to do it, as Jason did. And Jason finished, I think, 4th in the senior PGA last year. Now he has, like, I don't know, 5 top 5s, I believe, now in the Champions Tour, just in a short amount of time. He's got his full status this year. He's already in, like, the top 10 on the money list. So I'm super excited. I don't know Jason, but really cool to see someone doing that, and it inspires me. Now Jason's inspiring me, Rob inspired Jason, and that's how it goes.
So we've talked a lot recently about Rory, right? The idea that I think personally he's got 5 majors after this because he got the monkey off his back. That's just me, and he disagrees. But I think the idea of being settled matters. How do you quantify that? How do you, what in your experience has showed you that I play better when I'm settled?
100%. There's such a high expectation for him to win the Masters and get that final, that final major for the Grand Slam. And, we could all see, you can see it in his eyes, you can see it in his swing, you can see it just in his, everything about him, that he had a lot of pressure on him. And that was one of the coolest moments ever when he got down on his knees after he made that final putt, and you could, just how he was walking to the clubhouse, the emotions he was showing it was like so real, and everyone could tell how real it was. And everyone was feeling the same thing Rory was for him, and he just seemed like a normal human being, but the guy that just won got the Grand Slam going. So it was really cool, and it really hit home with so many fans of golf, just seeing the raw emotion that he had and how important it was for him to do that. He's not doing it for the money, he's not doing it for anything else. That's straight raw emotion. He had this as a goal his entire life, and he finally did it.
I mean, you played with him on the best day of your life, right?
I did. My only hole-in-one in competition my entire life was with Rory McIlroy on a Sunday in a major. I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, I've played in thousands upon thousands of tournaments, and I've never had a hole-in-one except one time, and that was at the PGA in 23 with Rory, who told me it went in and gives me a hug. I mean, yeah, so that was a very, very special moment, to say the least.
What was he like to play with?
Great. We talked, had a great time. Harry, his caddy, was fantastic. Really, really good people. I was so fortunate that week to have Rory and Harry on Sunday. I had Rosie on Saturday, and Rosie was just world class as well. And then I had Taylor Pendrith and Hayden Buckley the first 2 days, who were absolutely just great to play with. So I was very, very fortunate that I had fantastic pairings in that PGA, which is huge.
So what do you remember most about that Sunday?
I was struggling. It was the first day where, my driver was a little off. I was a little more tight. I just didn't have my game really on that Sunday, but I was getting up and down from everywhere, making some pretty decent putts. And that hole-in-one, was huge. That was absolutely huge for my score. And to shoot a 71 on the Sunday, for me, was huge. To do that in front of a crowd that was in huge support of me, which was awesome. I mean, they were all yelling, blocking me every single hole. And the Rochester fans in New York were just unreal.
So, I asked someone about this. What happens the day after you have an experience like that?
Yep. I woke up, and the second I'm laying in bed next to my wife, and the second I realized that it was not a dream, the second I realized it wasn't a dream, I literally started bawling. I mean, tears gushing down my face. I was literally just like a little baby in bed, and I couldn't believe that it had happened. And yeah, it was a very special moment because before that week, my wife had literally never seen me cry. Literally never. Not during the birth of my 2 children, nothing. I didn't cry on our wedding day. One time during Rudy, I watched Rudy one time, and I was crying during the movie when the players were putting their uniforms on the coach's desk so Rudy could play. And that was the one time I cried, and then the next time was the PGA Championship week. My emotions really got to me there, and to be honest, ever since the PGA in 23, I've cried more. I don't know. I'm just a much more emotional guy ever since that. I don't know. It like broke the seal or something. I don't know.
I mean, that was a Seinfeld episode, right? You know, Jerry all of a sudden doesn't care about anything, and then all of a sudden he can't stop crying.
Exactly, and that's exactly how it's been for me.
So you were more comfortable believing "why not me" like you had in your golf ball, and having very few people know who you are, than having everyone believe in you and having the pressure that came with that.
I'm a pleaser. And I want to please everybody. I always want to make everyone happy. I want to make my family proud. I want to make my friends proud. And then I want to make everyone proud who were supporters of me. And it's just a lot of pressure. And that wasn't something I was ever built on or ever really experienced until I'm 47 years old. You know, so for 46 and a half years of my life, I didn't have any of that. And for you to get that at an older age like I did is a really strange feeling. Hard to even explain, to be honest. But definitely, it's created a lot more pressure on. I've created that pressure. No one's done it to me. I've created that pressure myself. So it is my fault 100%. And I'm really working hard right now. I'm even thinking about going to see a sports psychologist to try to, you know, kind of have a different point of view. I think that's just kind of what I need to do now, is to change kind of my thoughts as far as expectation levels, and get back to me just hitting shots. Because I remember, I'll never forget in my life, my first tour event, it was the US Open in '07 in Oakmont. And I'd never played in anything else outside of a Korn Ferry event, which was the Nike back forever ago in St. Louis. But when I went out there, I hit this 7-iron, and I go, holy crap, the 7-iron here is no different than me hitting a 7-iron at home. I go, this is amazing. Like, I was like, this isn't any more difficult. It's just a 7-iron. It's just me and a golf ball, and there's the green. And as I always say, no one's going to tackle me, right? And the golf ball's not going to move. And I go, I can do this. And it was pretty funny. So I make the turn. I think I shoot 36, I believe, on the front 9, which is the back 9 at Oakmont. And I'm in the top 5 at this point. I hold out for eagle on like the 4th hole. I'm rolling. I am officially, I'm not a club pro anymore. I'm going to be on the tour. I walked by, my boss was right there, going from the 18th green over to 1 to tee off on my back 9. I almost put in my resignation right there. And then I proceeded to shoot, I think, a 47 or something like that on the front. I don't know. I think I shot 79 after shooting even on the front.
Because it's Oakmont, man.
Yeah, I know. And I was rolling. I'm like, I got this. And no, Oakmont kicked me in the butt pretty quick. And I think I shot 77 the next day. And I think the cut that year was like 12 over or something like that. It was unbelievable.
Oakmont, to me, that's the hardest golf course I've ever played, period.
Yeah. Shinnecock 2018, 3 p.m. tee time on Thursday, US Open, was more difficult under those conditions. Shinnecock, that 2018, 3 p.m. tee time, I'll never forget. I'm watching the television in the morning, watching the morning rounds, and it's like Jason Day, Jordan Spieth, and maybe Rory, and they were like 10, 12, and 14 over. And the announcer goes, yeah, I hope no afternoon players are watching this right now. And I'm just sitting there going, I felt like I was going into a UFC fight. I'm like, I'm gonna go get my butt handed to me right now. And I did. I forget what I shot, 81 or something like that, but yeah. So Shinnecock, 3 p.m., Oakmont, anytime, any day, anything is ridiculously hard, but unbelievably good.
All right, favorite golf course?
Favorite golf course, Augusta National, yeah. Fortunate enough to have played there not too long ago. I'm really into the nostalgia and the moments, all the history in golf. I've been a golf addict and watcher and reader my entire life. So anything, I've watched every tournament there is, and it's always been that. And then Pebble Beach with all the history there too. Before playing Augusta, it was Pebble. Now it's Augusta. If I have one more day to play golf with my 2 boys and my dad, I would go to Augusta.
What's it like that Dylan is kind of a baller now?
Dude, he is. You know, he's got things that I have never had in my golf swing, never will have in my golf swing. He's got that natural athletic ability. He falls out of bed swinging it really, really quick. I don't know where he got it. Definitely didn't get that from me, but he's now starting to practice too. The maturity level starting to come around. He just turned 20, and I'm now starting to see the practice regimen. He was out here actually yesterday morning waiting for the guys to quit, mowing the grass on the green to get ready to putt, which is something you would have never seen before. So I'm very proud of him on that. I'm really looking to see, he's probably going to turn pro here after this summer. He's going to try to get in the USAM. That's his last goal as an amateur, and then go to Q school here in the fall.
Yeah. So how much of was his play your example or your instruction?
All I ever told him was high hands and swing left. That was pretty much all the instruction there ever was. We never had a single, hey, be here at 3 o'clock, there's a lesson. Never, not one single time. It was always, I waited for him to go, hey, Dad, can you take a look at this? Which he still does to this day, every day. But he's always like, hey, Dad, will you video this and take a look at it? Which I love. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. But yeah, it's, he hasn't had a ton of instruction, but he's got, in my mind, one of the best swings in the world, man. It's just how good it is. And he's to me, he kind of moves like Rory, but he's almost, he's 6'2" and a half and 185 pounds and just quick. Yeah, it's fun. It'll be fun to watch. I hope he gets out there, and I hope people get to watch this kid hit a golf ball. That's the main thing. I've been just, the tension level just has seemed to be increasing. Like I was talking about, the nervous part of it is just tension. And so I'm even just sitting here right now hitting golf balls and on purposely letting my elbows kind of sag a little bit and not get too much into here, because a lot of the times what happens, right, the tension gets into your forearms, goes down into your hands, and then gets into your shoulders, which is, in my mind, those are all the areas where you want zero tension when making a golf swing. Everything else can be kind of athletic and a little tighter, but that area from the shoulders down to your fingertips needs to be moving, and if I could do that, I'd be a very happy guy.
I'm sitting here looking at the good logo on your shirt.
Yep.
And good, and a lot of the YouTube golfers have changed how people consume golf, how people think about golf. So where do you think the golf ecosystem is going with the influence of those outlets and people?
Well, brand marketing is definitely going towards more of that YouTube golf, that's for sure. Commercials just are, on TV, or even just ads. We always talk about it like on this whole view system. I just posted something the other day, just nothing but, I forget even what it was, but 125,000 views within 24 hours. And we think about that, like think about a stadium, right? A football stadium, packed, has 70,000 people in it, okay? Or maybe 100,000 depending on a huge stadium. And a billboard splashes up there. They're paying for that, 15 seconds up on a board in front of 60,000 people is a lot of money. And now you got kids out there getting 100,000 plus views constantly. And that's where those marketing dollars are gonna start going a lot. It's huge what they've all done. Good started the whole deal. And a lot of people have jumped on board, and they're very successful with it, and it's gonna only get bigger and bigger. Me personally, the reason why I think it happened is the smart TV. A lot of people, they're not juicing in on their cable box anymore. They just can get on their TV, it automatically just throw it up on the wall, plug and play, and they've got YouTube. And there you go. And everyone, their sister has that, and the whole cable thing's just kind of going away, and that's what's going to happen. So it'll be interesting. YouTube golf is definitely up there, and it's just starting in my mind. It's just starting. The characters that are going to come out over the next couple years, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And I think they're going to get a lot better too. A lot of guys who, it's kind of like the Savannah Bananas guys. There's people out there now that you don't have to be throwing 100 miles an hour. You can go there and have a personality and have fun, and you can make money in different ways now.
Okay, do you think that the kid that would have tried to play Korn Ferry Tour or Epson Tour or mini tours now is just going to grab a camera?
They already are.
Okay.
There's a whole bunch of guys already out there that are literally kind of showcasing their life on the road. They come up with everything. I've been watching these where they're saying, hey, this is how much money I spent this week playing in a Korn Ferry event. Or this is how much it spent following the Latin America tour. It's crazy. So people are really getting to see and dive into. It's not all just, you know, what you see on the PGA Tour. You know, these guys are out here staying at really poor motels and 3 guys in a room, and they're eating, you know, not at fancy restaurants, stuff like that, and they're struggling just to get paid and get caddies to follow along with them. So, but you're gonna start seeing a lot of these guys really start to gravitate more towards that YouTube when they realize, hey, I might not be quite good enough to be on the PGA Tour, but I got a personality and I can go out and create a really cool group of people and create a channel.
Is that going to mean we're going to get less depth in the professional ranks?
No, you'll still have the best of the best will be going out there towards the PGA Tour, etc., the big tours. No, I don't think you're going to lose. I don't see too many people. You know, you see Wes Bryan, and he goes, "Yeah, I could just do YouTube." You know, Wes, you know, I mean, he's suspended right now, but you know, I saw him. He talked to somebody. I saw an interview or something where he's definitely gravitating more towards YouTube golf, and he's very happy with that. And he just finished last year 2nd place in a tour event. I mean, he's a stud, you know. So there's one example right there. He's actually considering more just going towards YouTube.
So how do you tell your students to play with pressure?
Easy. Don't freeze yourself. One of the biggest things is I'm working with my youngest son a lot right now too, because his head tends to be down here at the golf ball the whole time. All the tour players are up here. I mean, 90% of the time their eyes are focused in on target, not focused in on this little bubble down here, which most amateurs, if you watch their eyes, they get behind it, and the whole time they're actually looking at the golf ball, they're staring at the golf ball, looking at it, and then they'll peek one time and that's it. And if you watch the tour players, all of them, they're like a kicker, right? A field goal. He's looking up at the field goal and going, okay, I'm looking at that ball, he's visualizing it, thinking about being very target oriented. And these are the best players. They're looking up and they're looking at the target. As they walk into it, they're not even looking at the ground. They're actually still looking up, peek down at it, boom, focus on the target, and let's play catch. And so I didn't freeze myself because I didn't give myself enough time to do it. In football, the opposite coach on the other team can freeze you by calling a timeout. Don't call a timeout on yourself. Do not freeze yourself. And I see it all the time in amateur golf.
All right. So when you believe in the think box?
I haven't even done it.
All right. So when you're preparing for your shot and you were behind it and you were looking at the target,
yep.
The moment you're walking in, you're locked in. You are not, there is no more thought.
Oh yeah, no. That's when I'm going, man, you are good looking. Man, you are athletic. Your outfit, man, your fit today is good. You know, you feel good, you look good. And now I'm a tiger about to, you know, stalk my prey. You know, I'm doing everything I can to build myself up. Those last, like as soon as I get to here, all of a sudden, yeah, I'm locked in. And I'm trying to build myself up as much as I can until after contact. It's hard, man, when you're old and, you know, you've got dad bod, it's hard to talk yourself into this stuff, so.
Yeah, but you've spent your entire career talking yourself up though, right? So this is easy.
I have to, you know, that's golf, man. Golf will tear you down pretty quick, that's for sure. But it's shot to shot, which is the cool part. I mean, it's one great swing, one great shot, and it comes off, and you're like, oh man, that's it. And yeah, I think I figured it out 1 billion times in my life, and then the next round, I didn't figure anything out. So golf's good like that. You know, that's why I think golf's such a popular sport. You're never going to perfect it, and you never know when you're going to shoot your best round or have a hole in one.